What if it's the case that we never figure life out? I don't know whose joke it is, but somebody played it on you. Because the truth is, you do not have to figure life out. Not life in general, and not your own life. We place these burdens upon our own shoulders, and that alone is what makes life so difficult. And sometimes the greatest lives lived are those that are marked by great struggle. So it's not so much that the burdens that are upon us are wrong or bad, but some of us get to a point where it's just too much and we can't take it anymore. This is how a lot of good people die. Because they give and give and give their whole life to the world. They take the responsibility of taking care of everybody else. And the world takes and takes and takes. And one day you find out that you are not Superman or Superwoman. We experience so much suffering from the burdens we place upon ourselves, from the roles that we have identified with. But the funny thing is that just look out into the world, look out into the universe. This magnificent creation, all of the cosmos, filled with billions of galaxies, each galaxy filled with billions of stars. Now look at our planet alone, how magnificent and how beautiful it is. See nature, see how everything dances in this kind of perfect orchestration. All of creation did this by itself, with no help from you, no help from me, or any other living being. So why do we assume that we need to make life happen? Why do we assume that we need to figure things out? Because life clearly has already figured it out. I think the hardest part is when it comes to family, because as a father or as a mother or as a son or a daughter, you feel this responsibility to provide and take care of your family. And this is right and noble. But the fact is, life is already taking care of life. God has already taken care of everything. What is it that we can do to shift the nature of things, to make things other than what they are? Is this possible? Or are we just crushing ourselves with our own minds? This is one of the great tragedies of life, is that we believe that we are a slave out in the world, economically, racially. If you're a woman, you might feel like you're a slave to a man's world. You see your life situation and all the problems that you're a slave to. You might be a slave to debt. You might be a slave to drugs. And I will not diminish these problems, because for you, they are serious and you believe them and they are everything. But don't get stuck in Stockholm Syndrome in fighting for your problems, giving them reasons to exist. Because, in truth, the only thing that you are a slave to is your own mind. God cannot remove your addictions if you are constantly fighting for them, giving them your energy, giving them your attention, getting lost in the story in your mind. God cannot take away your debt if you're constantly feeding this life situation with fear. God cannot take care of your family if you're always worried, if you're always anxious, if you're always thinking, oh, something bad might happen. God cannot take care of your health if you're always worried about it. You see, God has already taken care of everything. Everything in our lives, all of our greatest desires, they are already ours. All the dreams that you had when you were young, your soul's desire, the fact that they are there means that they are already yours. And what do most of us do? We kill those dreams by becoming a slave to the mind that says, get practical, go get a job, be a slave to the system. And because we betray our own soul, whatever frivolous riches that we gain in the world, we will not even be able to enjoy for a moment, because that is the price we pay. But the moment you recognize that you are already free right here, right now, all of your troubles will go away. Your life situation may take time to change, as it has for me, but you simply no longer see problems. The moment you see that divine orchestration, the dance of life, God's play, you are no longer caught in the illusion and these ideas that we so heavily believe in no longer have any effect over us. What do I mean by this? It means that, if I believe that the system is set up to fail me in any number of ways, maybe I'm poor, and I say, it's because of capitalism. They take advantage of the poor people, and I just can't catch a break. You are poor not because of anything other than your own unconsciousness of the riches within you. Everything that you could ever need and ever want and ever desire is already yours, and it is already here now. It is simply the inability to see that keeps one from it. And maybe it doesn't make much sense right now, because when we are caught in the illusion, we can't see things other than how we see things. If I am a woman and I strongly believe that I am a slave to a man's world, do you think that attachment is just going to fly away on its own? These strong attachments, these strong beliefs and identities have to be given up and surrendered one by one. And because these attachments are part of us, sometimes it is painful to give them up. But see, no matter what, either we give them up and surrender them of our own accord, or life will rip them away from us. So it is our choice. It is best to become desperate for freedom, because then you will find it. But if you are desperate to achieve worldly things, then you will also find it. But you will also find that there is no gold at the end of that rainbow, that it was all empty. But you see, if you can place your value in the proper order, that is, you give the most value to what is eternal, and you only give secondary value to the temporary physical world, then you can completely be full of joy and peace and happiness and contentment and satisfaction. That can be your default state. And then you can go into the world and enjoy whatever it is that you want. You can go and create whatever you want. Live whatever life that you want. But you cannot do this until you realize the infinite power of God within you. The power that gave rise to all of existence. You have access to this, but not to those who are a slave to the mind. This power is earned, because if the mind gets hold of that power, it can wipe out the whole planet. It may cause great destruction. But our attachments to the mind and our own stories is what keeps us from this power. These are what keep us a slave to the mind. And so the mind uses this God power that fundamentally we are, and it steals it for its own purposes, its own benefits. It uses it to fuel its own self. However, the host is rarely aware of this. When you pray, believe that it has already been given to you. That was Jesus. Do not give your attention, your energy, your time to things that you do not want to experience. That is what it means to have Stockholm Syndrome. Because you give your attention to the things that you love. And you can see how so many people really love negativity. They love the drama, they love the conflict, they love the fight. No matter how much they claim that they don't. Because actions don't lie, but words can be unreliable. This all begins with awareness of where you are giving your attention and your energy to. Until you take control of your attention, then it is very easy to become a slave or to remain a slave to forces outside of your control. They say the mind is a terrible master and a wonderful slave.